The wealthiest place on this planet is not the oil fields of the Middle East. It is not the diamond mines of South Africa. It is not the banks of Wall Street. The wealthiest place on earth is the graveyard. Why? Because buried in the cemetery are books that were never written, businesses that were never started, inventions that were never created, and dreams that were never realized. Buried in the graveyard are ideas that never saw the light of day because the people who carried them took them to the grave. And the tragedy of life is not death. The tragedy of life is to leave this world full of potential, full of dreams, full of unused gifts, full of untapped purpose. My question to you today is simple. Will you die full or will you die empty? Listen to me carefully. You are not an accident. You are not a mistake. You are not here because two people decided to come together. No, you are here because heaven sent you. God does not create anything without purpose. Before he formed you in your mother's womb, he already knew you. He already designed you. He already appointed you for something greater than yourself. But the question is, have you discovered why you are here? Do you know what you carry? One of the greatest tragedies in life is not death. It is to live without knowing why you were born. Every single thing in creation has a purpose. The sun was created to give light. The rain was designed to bring nourishment. The fish were made to swim. The birds were designed to fly. And you were sent to earth with a specific purpose that no one else can fulfill. You were sent as an answer to a problem. You were created to solve something on this planet. But if you do not discover what that is, you will spend your life wandering, chasing things that have nothing to do with your destiny. Look around you. The most successful people in this world are not those who simply work hard, but those who have discovered their assignment. When a person finds their purpose, they stop competing with others because they realize their only competition is their own potential. Purpose is not something you create, it is something you discover. It was placed inside of you before you were born. God said to Jeremiah, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." That means before your mother ever felt you move, God had already assigned your purpose. Before your father ever gave you a name, God had already given you a destiny. You did not come to earth to find purpose, you came to fulfill it. But the danger is this: if you don't know why you were born, people will tell you who you should be, society will label you, culture will define you, your family's expectations will limit you, and if you are not careful, you will spend your life trying to live up to an identity that is not yours. How many people have abandoned their dreams because someone told them they weren't good enough? How many people have buried their gifts because fear convinced them they would fail? How many people have walked away from their calling because they were afraid of what others might think? I tell you today, enough. No more living beneath your potential. No more hiding what God placed inside of you. No more doubting your own worth. It is time to wake up and realize that your life is too valuable to be wasted. Inside of you is a gift that the world needs. Inside of you is a vision that must be fulfilled. Inside of you is a dream that was not given to anyone else but you. But let me warn you, purpose does not come automatically. It requires discovery. It requires discipline. It requires a deep hunger to seek God and ask, "Lord, why did you send me here? What is the assignment you placed on my life?" Have you ever seen a manufacturer create something without first designing its function? No. Before a car is made, the engineers already determine how fast it will go, how much weight it will carry, and what purpose it will serve. Before a phone is built, the designers already decide what features it will have and how it will operate. And in the same way, before God created you, He already placed inside of you the gifts and the ability to fulfill your purpose. That is why you must stop looking outside of yourself for validation. Your worth is not determined by people. Your success is not measured by the standards of this world. Your assignment was set by God, and it is time for you to rise up and fulfill it. Some of you are sitting on your purpose, waiting for permission to step into what God has already given you. But hear me clearly. You don't need permission to be who God created you to be. You don't need the approval of men to do what heaven has assigned you to do. You don't need to wait for someone to affirm your calling when the creator of the universe already called you. The only permission you need is from yourself. You must decide that enough is enough. No more delaying, no more doubting, no more excuses. You must rise up and say, I will not die with my potential locked inside of me. I will not leave this earth without fulfilling my purpose. I will empty myself before I take my last breath. The wealthiest place in the world is not the stock market, not the oil fields, not the gold mines. It is the graveyard. Because in that graveyard lie books that were never written, songs that were never sung, businesses that were never started, inventions that were never created, and visions that were never fulfilled. The cemetery is full of people who died still carrying what they were meant to release. But you must make a decision today. Will you take your gifts to the grave, or will you die empty? The time is now. Heaven is waiting. The world is waiting. And your purpose cannot wait any longer. Listen to me carefully. Your gift is not for you. God did not give you that talent, that skill, that ability just so you could keep it to yourself. He placed it inside of you because the world needs it. Your gift is an answer to a problem. Your gift is a solution to a crisis. Your gift was not designed for you to keep, it was designed for you to release. But too many people live as if their gift belongs to them. They hide it. They sit on it. They make excuses. They tell themselves, I'm not ready. They say, I don't have enough resources. They convince themselves, I'm not good enough. Well, let me ask you, if a tree refused to produce fruit, who would suffer? Not the tree. The tree does not eat its own fruit. Its fruit exists for others. If a river stopped flowing, who would suffer? Not the river. The river does not drink its own water. Its water exists to nourish the land. Everything in creation was designed to give, and you were created to do the same. That is why the Bible says a man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. Proverbs 18:16, notice, it is not your education that makes room for you. It is not your connections. It is not even your hard work. It is your gift that opens doors. But a gift that is never used can never make room for you. A gift that is never developed can never elevate you. A gift that is never shared can never bless others. Some of you are struggling in life, not because you lack opportunities, but because you have not released your gift. You are praying for doors to open, but the key is already in your hands. You are waiting for God to move, but God is waiting for you to activate what He has already placed inside of you. If you do not release your gift, you will remain stuck where you are. Look around you. Every successful person you see is simply a person who discovered and released their gift. They did not wait for permission. They did not wait for perfect conditions. They simply decided to release what was inside of them. The world does not reward potential. It rewards what you produce. And let me tell you something. Your gift is not small. Some of you have been deceived into believing that your talent is insignificant, that what you have is not valuable. But do you know that an entire forest is locked inside of a single seed? A tiny seed may look small, but within it is the potential for trees, for shade, for fruit, for entire ecosystem. Your gift may seem small to you, but when released, it has the power to impact generations. Moses stood before the Red Sea, afraid and uncertain, and God asked him one question: what is in your hand? All Moses had was a staff, just a piece of wood. But when he lifted it in obedience, that staff became an instrument of miracles. What if Moses had refused to use it? What if he had held back? The Red Sea would have never parted. So I ask you today, What is in your hand? What has God given you that you're refusing to use? What talent, what skill, what wisdom, what knowledge is locked up inside of you because you are afraid to release it? You are waiting for a sign, but the sign is already in your hands. The world is waiting for what you carry, and every day you delay is a day the world goes without what you were born to provide. But let me warn you, if you do not use your gift, you will lose it. The Bible tells the story of a man who was given a talent, but instead of using it, he buried it in the ground. When the master returned, he was angry, and he took that talent and gave it to someone else. Why? Because whatever you fail to use, you will eventually lose. If you do not use your voice, your influence, your wisdom, your creativity, it will atrophy, it will fade, it will be given to someone else who is willing to use it. And some of you are frustrated because you see others succeeding in areas where you once had potential. But the problem is not that they were better than you. The problem is that they used what you were afraid to use. While you were hesitating, they were moving. While you were doubting, they were taking action. While you were waiting for the perfect moment, they were stepping out in faith. And now you wonder why doors are opening for them while you remain in the same place. I tell you today, stop waiting. Stop hesitating. Stop making excuses. Your gift was never meant to stay locked up inside of you. It was meant to be shared. The world is not in need of more people with potential. It is in need of people who are willing to activate their potential. So I ask you, will you die full or will you die empty? Will you hold on to what you have or will you release it? The world is waiting. Your generation is waiting. Your gift is too valuable to be wasted. And today, heaven is calling you to step forward and pour out everything inside of you. No more delays, no more excuses. The time is now. Release your gift. Fear is the greatest enemy of your purpose. It is the silent killer of dreams, the unseen force that paralyzes potential, the invisible chain that keeps men and women from stepping into their destiny. Fear is not just a feeling, it is a spirit. And if you do not conquer it, it will conquer you. How many lives have been wasted because of fear? How many visions have died because of doubt? How many businesses were never started? How many books were never written? How many ideas were never pursued? Not because the person lacked the ability, but because they were afraid. Fear is a prison. It is designed to keep you locked in a place where you are safe, comfortable, and ineffective. It tells you, what if you fail? It reminds you of every mistake, every shortcoming, every insecurity. Fear makes you second guess what God has already placed inside of you. It makes you hesitate when you should move. It makes you shrink when you should rise. It makes you stay silent when you should speak. But hear me today. Fear is a lie. Fear is an illusion. Fear is a deception designed to keep you from becoming what you were born to be. Fear did not come from God. The Bible declares in 2 Timothy 1:7, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. If fear did not come from God, then where did it come from? It is the weapon of the enemy. It is the tool of Satan to keep you from walking in authority. It is his strategy to silence your voice and stop your progress. But today you must decide that fear will not win. Look at the great men and women of Scripture. Every single one of them had to overcome fear to fulfill their destiny. When God called Moses, he was afraid. He said, I cannot speak. He doubted himself. But God did not ask Moses for his ability. He asked for his obedience. When Joshua was about to lead the people of Israel, God commanded him 3 times in Joshua 1:9, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Why? Because God knew that the greatest threat to Joshua's success was not the enemies ahead of him. It was the fear inside of him. It was the fear inside of him. What about you? What battles are you fighting in your mind? What dreams have you put on hold because of fear? How long have you been waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, the perfect opportunity, Listen to me. There will never be a perfect moment. The moment you have is now. If you allow fear to control you, you will spend your whole life waiting for a day that will never come. Do you know what happens to people who live in fear? They become slaves. They become slaves to the opinions of others, slaves to their past, slaves to their insecurities. They spend their lives running from the very thing God called them to conquer. But you are not created to be a slave to fear. You are created to walk in dominion, in boldness, in confidence. The enemy will always try to intimidate you right before your breakthrough. Look at David. Before he could be king, he had to face Goliath. The army of Israel trembled in fear, but David stepped forward. He was young, inexperienced, untrained, but he had something greater than fear. He had faith. And with one stone, he brought down a giant that others were too afraid to fight. What if David had let fear stop him? What if he had believed the voices that told him he was too small, too weak, too unqualified? He would have missed his destiny. Some of you are standing before your own Goliath. Your giant might be the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of not being good enough. But let me tell you something. What you refuse to fight today will rule over you tomorrow. If you do not conquer fear, fear will conquer you. And let me warn you, fear disguises itself. Sometimes it looks like excuses. Sometimes it looks like procrastination. Sometimes it looks like wisdom. But in reality, it is just fear in disguise. The person who keeps saying, I'll do it next year, is afraid. The person who keeps saying, I'm still praying about it, is afraid. The person who keeps saying, I need more time, is afraid. But you cannot afford to let fear control your life. The Bible says in Isaiah 41:10, do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. If God is with you, what do you have to be afraid of? If the creator of the universe is on your side, who can stand against you? Fear only has power if you believe it. But when you decide that God's word is greater than your fear, fear loses its grip on your life. I declare today that you will not be a slave to fear. You will not live beneath your potential. You will not die without fulfilling your purpose. Fear will not stop you from releasing your gift. Fear will not silence your voice. Fear will not keep you from stepping into your destiny. You have everything you need inside of you right now. Stop waiting, stop hesitating, stop doubting. The world is waiting for what you carry, and today you must make the decision that fear will no longer control your life. No more excuses, no more delays, no more fear. The time is now. Step forward, walk in faith, and do not let fear win. Listen to me carefully. Time is life. When you waste time, you are not just losing minutes, you are losing life. When you waste time, you are not just delaying progress, you are delaying destiny. Time is the currency of life, and how you spend it determines what you become. The question is not whether you have enough time. The question is, what are you doing with the time you have? Time. Look at the world around you. Everything is bound by time. The sun rises and sets by time. The seasons change by time. The trees grow by time. The Bible says in Ecclesiastes 3:01, to everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. That means purpose is tied to time. Destiny is tied to time. Your assignment is tied to time. And if you do not use time wisely, you will miss what God has planned for you. How many people have died with their dreams still inside of them because they thought they had more time? How many people have gone to their graves full of regrets because they kept saying, I will do it tomorrow, but tomorrow never came? Let me tell you something. Tomorrow is the greatest deception of the enemy. The devil does not have to destroy you. All he has to do is convince you to delay. He does not have to stop you. All he has to do is make you procrastinate. If he can make you believe that you have more time, he can keep you from ever fulfilling your purpose. You must understand this. Time is not waiting for you. Time does not pause for your fears. Time does not slow down for your insecurities. Time does not stop for your excuses. Every second that passes is a second you can never get back. Every hour that goes by is an hour you can never reclaim. Every wasted day is a lost opportunity to become what you were created to be. Jesus understood the power of time. That is why he said in John 9:04, I must work the works of him who sent me while it is day. The night is coming when no one can work. Jesus knew that he had an assignment and he had a limited time to complete it. He did not waste time. He did not make excuses. He did not wait for the perfect moment. He understood that when the night comes, the work must stop. And let me tell you something, your night is coming. There will come a day when you will take your last breath. There will come a day when your time on this earth will end. And the question will not be, how long did you live? The question will be, what did you do with the time you were given? Look at the life of Paul. When he came to the end of his journey, he did not say, I wish I had more time. He did not say, I should have done more. He said in 2 Timothy 4:7, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. He did not just run the race. He finished it. He did not just start. He completed what he was sent to do. And that is how you must live. Some of you are sitting on your dreams, waiting for the right time. You are saying, I will do it next year. You are saying, I need more preparation. But the truth is, you are not waiting on time. Time is waiting on you. You are not waiting on God. God is waiting on you. If you do not move, time will move without you. If you do not act, time will act against you. If you do not fulfill your assignment, time will pass you by. And you will look back and realize that you never became who you were meant to be. Let me ask you, what are you doing with your time? Are you using it to build your gift, or are you wasting it on distractions? Are you using it to develop your purpose, or are you wasting it on things that do not matter? Are you investing in your destiny, or are you spending your life chasing things that will not last? You say you have no time. But how much time do you spend on things that have nothing to do with your calling? How much time do you waste scrolling on your phone, watching television, gossiping, complaining, making excuses? And then you say, I don't have time. No, you have time, but you are not using it wisely. Time is life. And when you misuse time, you are abusing the life God has given you. You do not own time. You are only a steward of it. And one day God will ask you, what did you do with the time I gave you? The cemetery is full of people who thought they had more time. It is full of people who delayed, who postponed, who kept saying, one day I will do it, but their day never came. And now their dreams are buried with them. But I declare today, you will not die full. You will not leave this earth without fulfilling your purpose. You will not waste another second living in fear, in hesitation, in procrastination. You will use your time wisely. You will maximize every moment. You will release everything God has placed inside of you before you leave this earth. No more delays, no more wasted time, no more excuses. The time is now. Do it now. Move now. Fulfill your purpose now. Because tomorrow is not promised. And you cannot afford to leave this world full. Listen to me carefully. What you carry inside of you is not for you. Your gift, your talent, your purpose, these things were never meant to die with you. They were given to you for the world. You are not an accident. You were not sent to this earth just to exist, work, pay bills, and die. No. You were sent here to release something that no one else can release. The question is, will you die empty, or will you take your gifts to the grave? The greatest tragedy in life is not death. It is a life that was never lived. The greatest failure is not losing, it is never trying. The saddest thing is not running out of time. It is reaching the end and realizing you never truly lived. How many people will suffer because you refuse to step into your purpose? How many lives will remain unchanged because you hid your gift? How many generations will miss out because you were too afraid to release what God placed inside of you? Look around you. Everything that exists started as an idea. Every building, every book, every invention, every piece of art, it was once inside of someone. But do you know where the richest place on earth is? It is not the diamond mines of South Africa. It is not the oil fields of the Middle East. The richest place on earth is the cemetery. Why? Because buried there are books that were never written, songs that were never sung, businesses that were never started, inventions that were never developed, and visions that were never fulfilled. The graveyard is full of potential that was never realized. And the enemy's greatest strategy is to convince you to take your gift with you to the grave. He wants you to sit on your dreams. He wants you to delay your vision. He wants you to live in fear, in doubt, and hesitation so that you never pour out what God put inside of you. But today you must decide that you will not die full. You must decide that you will leave this earth completely empty, having deposited everything you were sent here to deliver. Jesus was the perfect example of living an empty life. He did not come to this earth to accumulate. He came to give. He said in John 10:10, I have come that they may have life and have it more abundantly. He came to pour himself out for the sake of others. And in John 19:30, his final words on the cross were, it is finished. Not I'm finished. It is finished, meaning I have completed everything I was sent to do. He did not leave with anything still inside of him. He did not take his purpose to the grave. He fulfilled it before he died. That must be your testimony. You must reach the end of your journey and say, I have poured out everything God gave me. You must leave no dream unfulfilled, no talent unused, no assignment incomplete. Do not let fear stop you. Do not let excuses stop you. Do not let time pass you by while you keep saying, one day I will do it. One day is today. The moment is now. Think about the parable of the talents in Matthew 25. The master gave 3 servants different amounts. One received 5, one received 2, and one received 1. The first 2 multiplied what they had, but the last servant buried his talent in the ground. And when the master returned, he called that servant wicked and lazy. Not because he stole it, not because he misused it, but because he hid it. What are you hiding? What gift has God given you that you have buried? God does not give gifts for them to be hidden. He does not give purpose for it to be wasted. He does not give vision for it to stay in your imagination. Everything he has given you is meant to be multiplied, released, and used for his glory. Do not be like that servant who buried his gift. Do not let God look at your life and say, you did nothing with what I gave you. It does not matter how small you think your gift is. Use it. It does not matter if you feel unqualified. Start now. It does not matter if you do not have all the answers. Step out in faith. The world is waiting for what you carry. The world needs your voice, your idea, your talent, your business, your vision. Stop playing it safe. Stop waiting for permission. Stop thinking you have more time. The moment you have is now. Paul said in Philippians 2:17, even if I am being poured out like a drink offering, Paul lived his life pouring himself out. He did not hold back. He did not reserve anything for later. He did not leave anything undone. And when he came to the end, he said in 2 Timothy 4:6, I am already being poured out like a drink offering, and the time for my departure is near. Paul was ready because he had nothing left inside of him. That must be your goal. Every day you wake up, you must ask yourself, what am I pouring out today? Pouring out, pouring out, pouring out. Every day you must make deposits into your destiny. Every day you must take one step closer to fulfilling your assignment. Because one day you will breathe your last breath. And when that day comes, the only thing that will matter is whether you fulfilled what you were sent to do. I declare today, you will not take your gift to the grave. You will not leave this earth full. You will not waste another second sitting on your potential. You will not let fear rob you of your destiny. You will pour out everything. You will release your purpose. You will fulfill your calling. You will die empty. No more excuses, no more delays, no more hesitation. The time is now. The world is waiting. Pour it all out before you leave this earth. because you cannot afford to die full. My friend, the time for playing it safe is over. The time for waiting is over. The time for excuses is over. You were not sent to this earth to die full. You were not placed here to bury a gift. You were not given purpose just to keep it locked inside. You were created to pour yourself out. You were designed to release everything God has placed within you. Your life is a seed, and it must be planted, it must grow, and it must bear fruit before your time is done. You must live with urgency. You must wake up every morning with the determination to make every moment count. You must refuse to go to your grave with anything left undone, because one day you will stand before God and He will ask you, what did you do with what I gave you? And on that day, your answer must be, Lord, I poured it all out. I held nothing back. I finished my race. I completed my assignment. No more waiting. No more doubting, no more holding back. The world is waiting for you. Heaven is watching you. The time is now. So go, write the book, start the business. Build a vision, speak the message, sing the song, lead the people, create the future. Do not let another day pass with your purpose still inside of you, because your life is too precious, your assignment is too important, and your time is too short to leave this earth full. Empty yourself before you die. Die finished. Die empty. Die knowing that you gave the world everything God put inside of you. Good luck on your journey. May you rise with boldness, walk with purpose, and leave this world knowing that you lived, you gave, and you fulfilled your calling. Thank you, and God bless you.